Hey everyone, it's Matt, and today I will be talking to you about all of the music in my music library. And some of you may notice that I'm doing things a little bit differently today. That instead of having my mic on a tripod and sitting at a table, I am sitting on a couch and holding it in my hand. And though I don't think it's going to make any major difference in how this sounds, if you do have a preference one way or another, let me know and I'll keep it in mind. But anyway, I also want to point out that some of you may notice that I did a video on this very topic, or almost the exact topic, about 5 years ago. I think it was called What's on My iPod? Yes, I do still have this iPod. But as I no longer use this iPod, and it's been several years since then, and I've added quite a bit of music to my library, I thought it might be fun for an update, especially for those of you who may not have been around for 5 years, which I imagine is quite a few of you. So today, I will be taking my phone and going through my list of artists on Apple Music. And I know some of you are probably wondering right now, Matt, why you use Apple Music and not Spotify, especially with how popular Spotify is. Well, one very big reason: Spotify has a library song limit of 10,000 songs. And I surpassed 10,000 songs quite a while ago, so I need a service that will allow me to save more than 10,000 songs, and Apple Music, in my opinion, is the best option for that. In addition, it lets me upload songs that are not on the service that I have MP3s of, which is quite helpful. But enough of my almost advertisement for Apple Music. That's not what I meant it to be. Anyway, let's get started and go down the list of artists in my music library. I will simply be listing off the artists and stopping on any noteworthy or interesting ones that I want to talk about. So, I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Starting off, we have famous for, of course, Take On Me. And that's the only song I have by them. That is the only song I know by them, which I imagine is the case with many people. But continuing on, we have AC/DC. The Academy is Ace Waters and Richard Eby. Aerosmith. AFI. Afrojack. Ahmad Jamal Trio. Akira Yamaoka. Alan Silvestri. Alexis on Fire. Alice DJ. All That Remains. Alter Bridge. Amazarashi. In Berlin. Andane. Andrew WK. He's the guy you might know of as enjoying partying quite a bit. Much of his music is about partying. That said, I think the only song I have by him is called Ready to Die, so maybe not quite as much about partying, but anyway. Next up we have Andy Hunter. The Animals. Animals as Leaders. And Animals as Leaders, in my opinion, is a great progressive metal band. They're instrumental. And if you're into progressive metal or just complicated instrumental music that takes a lot of skill to play, I think you might enjoy Animals as Leaders. I really like them. Anti-Mask. Aphex Twin. Apocalyptica. Arcade Fire. Arch Enemy, Architects, Arctic Monkeys, Armin van Buren, Army of Anyone, At the Drive-In, one of my favorite bands, along with the Mars Volta, which was kind of the successor to At the Drive-In in a few ways. Atreyu, Audio Slave, Audio Vent. If I'm not mistaken, Audio Vent is a band led by, or they were led by the brother of the lead singer for Incubus. I may be wrong about that, but it's kind of a shame they didn't really take off because I did enjoy their one album. But next up we have August Burns Red, Avenged Sevenfold, Azusa, Bad Religion, Bad Bad Not Good, Baroness, Battles, The Beach Boys, Beacon, Beastie Boys, Beat Saber. Beat Saber is a great VR game. I'm sure you're aware of it if you are familiar with VR, but if somehow you have a VR headset and have not played Beat Saber, I would highly recommend it. Of course, the music is good, but it's an even better game. The Beatles. Who are the Beatles? Has anyone heard of that band? I don't know what they're doing in here. Beck. Being. Ben Salisbury and Jeff Barrow. Between the Buried and Me. Billy Idol. The Black Dahlia Murder. Black Flag. The Black Queen. I really like the Black Queen. They have 2 albums so far. If anyone is familiar with the Dillinger Escape Plan, the lead singer of the Black Queen, Greg Puciato, I think that's how you pronounce his name, went on to make a kind of, I'd say they're dance or electronic to some degree, but kind of a darker vibe, almost like Depeche Mode in some ways. They kind of have almost a retro sound as well. But either way, if you are a fan of the Dillinger Escape Plan and you like Greg's vocals, I would definitely recommend the Black Queen. Very different from the Dillinger Escape Plan, but very, very good electronic dance music in my opinion. Black Sabbath, Black Center, Blind Guardian, Blinded Colony, Blink 182, Block Party, Blue Encount, Blue Man Group. I did see Blue Man Group live once in Las Vegas, though if I'm not mistaken the actual Blue Men do switch out from time to time, or depending on the venue. I may be wrong about that, but either way it was a good show. If you ever get the chance to see Blue Man Group, I'd recommend them. Blue Oyster Cult, Blur, Boards of Canada. And Boards of Canada are a great electronic band. They're kind of ambient. They have kind of this weird retro nostalgic sound to them. I can't really describe well, but they're very good at evoking certain moods, and I would highly recommend them. Bob Marley and the Wailers. Bobby Caldwell. I only know one song by him, but it's great. What You Won't Do for Love. Super smooth song. Bon Jovi. Bonobo. Born of Osiris. Born Ruffians. The Bouncing Souls. Brain Drill. Pleasant band name. The Bravery. Breaking Benjamin, Brendan Benson, Bring Me the Horizon, Broken Social Scene, BT, Bullet for My Valentine, Bury Your Dead, C418, Cake, Callum Graham, Camellia, Cancer Bats, Car Bomb, and Car Bomb is one of my favorite metal bands that I've recently discovered. They are very, 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 very heavy and complex math metal. I guess I'd probably call them math metal, kind of like the Dillinger Escape Plan, which, if you can't tell by now, is one of my favorite bands. But if you like extreme music, I would highly recommend Car Bomb, especially their last two albums, Meta and Morgial. I think it's Morgial or Mordial. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Either way, Car Bomb, highly recommended. Next up, Carpenter Brut. You may recognize them from, I believe they were in Hotline Miami 2. But they make some really good 80s style synth music. CeeLo Green, Chad Kroeger. Yes, that Chad Kroeger. Not sorry. Chamillionaire, the Charlie Daniels Band, Chase and Status, the Chemical Brothers, Childish Gambino, Children of Bodom, Chimp Spanner, Sean, another great instrumental rock band. They have kind of a complex yet chill vibe to them. If any of that sounds interesting to you, highly recommended. The Chromatics, The Clash, Coconuts, Code Orange. Code Orange just came out with a new album that's very good. And I might as well continue by saying that they are kind of hardcore, punkcore, metal to some degree. And that's really all I have to say about them. I would recommend them though. If you like heavy music, Coheed and Cambria, Cold War Kids, Coldplay, College, Coma Duster, Combichrist, The Contortionist, Converge, Corellia. Corellia is a progressive metal band that I really liked the one EP by, but despite them promising to come out with a new album long ago, and I think they might have even crowdfunded it, they never did come out with it, which is pretty disappointing, but what can you do? I would still recommend their first and only EP. I think it was their only one. Covet, another recommendation for instrumental rock. They're kind of like John in a way, but maybe if you're familiar with the guitarist Yvette Young, it's her primary band. Crosses, The Crystal Method, The Cure, Cypress Hill, Dada, Daft Punk, Dalek, The Damned Things, Damone, Dance Gavin Dance, Daniel Lopatin, Darkest since I have discovered them and like them quite a bit, so if you're the guy or girl who commented that I should listen to Death Grips, there you go. Decap, The Decemberists, Deep Purple, Deftones, Depeche Mode, Descendants, Desert Sessions. If you like Queens of the Stone Age, you'll probably like Desert Sessions. They are, and I never know how to pronounce this guy's name, but I think it's Josh Hummies or Josh Holmes' other project, or one of his other projects. So if you like his vocals, you'll probably like a lot of their songs. Desire, Devin Townsend, or as he may also be listed, the Devin Townsend Band and Devin Townsend Project. If you like progressive music, leaning towards metal mainly, I would highly recommend Devin Townsend. He's a pretty cool Canadian guy who has made a ton of different progressive music over the years. And he is, if anything, incredibly creative, basically constantly. It's always interesting to hear his music. The Dillinger Escape Plan, and as I've already made clear, Dillinger Escape Plan is one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm sad that they disbanded a few years ago, but they said that was what they wanted to do. They went out on their own terms, but either way, if you like extreme, chaotic, heavy metal, I cannot recommend any other band more than the Dillinger Escape Plan, at least for my taste. Great, great music, though some may disagree if you're not into metal or loud things. Dio, Disturbed, DJ Sammy, Token, Don Davis, Doves, Dr. Dre, Drab Majesty, Dragon Force, Dream Theater, Drop 19s, Dropkick Murphys, Drowning Pool, Dry Cell, Eagles, Earth, Wind and Fire, El Grupo Nuevo de Omar Rodriguez Lopez, which is, of course, one of the many side projects of Omar Rodriguez Lopez of the Mars Volta and at the Drive-In. He has a ton of music. El Huervo, Electric Six, Ellie Goulding, Eminem, not to be confused with the candy, of course. Ender, Erasure, Europe, Evan Olsen, Evanescence, Every Time I Die, The Faceless, Fair to Midland, a band I wish made more music. They're pretty great, unique. I guess I'd call them alternative rock band, but with a twist, I guess. I can't really describe them well. Faith No More, great band, led by one of my favorite vocalists, Mike Patton. The Fall of Troy, Fallout Boy, Fallujah, Fatboy Slim, Feist, Fen Rosenthal, Filter, Finch, The Flaming Lips, Fleetwood Mac, A Flock of Seagulls, Flogging Molly, Florence and the Machine, Flux Conduct, Flux Pavilion, Foggy, Foo Fighters, 4 Seconds Ago. Some of you may know my affinity for Periphery. If you like Periphery and you're not familiar with 4 Seconds Ago, it's not really that kind of music, but you may enjoy it Sinatra, Franz Ferdinand, free moral agents, from first to last. Frontierer, full of hell, the Gaslight Anthem, Genghis Tron, Sherry Rafferty, Ghost, Gigi D'Agostino, Giraffe Tongue Orchestra, Glassjaw, The Glitch Mob, Gnarls Barkley, Gojira, one of my favorite metal bands. Very heavy, but with some melody to them. Very, almost groovy at times. I'd recommend them for sure. Goldfinger, Good Tiger, Gorillaz. One of the bands I've been into the longest, I'd say. Green Day, The Green Kingdom, Greg Puciato from the New Escape Plan. He recently came out with a single from an upcoming album that he's making, a solo album. If you are a Don't Escape Plan fan and want some more music like that, it's not exactly the same, but it is very much that same vibe. It's loud metal, so I would recommend it. Guns N' Roses, Hathaway, Hans Zimmer, Haunted Shores. Again, if you like Periphery, I would recommend Haunted Shores. It is another side project by Misha and Mark. He is Legend, Health, Heaven Shall Burn, Hella, Hex System. Hex System is the artist name of the YouTuber Umami, who makes a fantastic series of kind of surrealist animations on YouTube called Interface. He also has some pretty interesting and funny other animations too. I would highly recommend him though. That's Umami, U-M-A-M-I. High on Fire, Hikaru Utada, Him, Hoobastank, Hot Dad, Hot Heat. Oh, and by the way, Hot Dad made some of the music for Hypnospace Outlaw, so if you like that game, you'll probably like his music. Hot Heat, How to Destroy Angels, Human Abstract, Hyper Potions, Ian Brown, Ian Von Dahl, Ice Cube, Incubus, which was one of the first bands I ever saw live, Infinity Shred, Insane Clown Posse. I bet some of you are wondering right now, Matt, are you a juggalo? I'm not a juggalo, but there is one of their songs I found pretty amusing, and that is one that I think was memed about quite a bit a few years ago. Miracles. I think that's all I need to say about it. Interpol, Intervals, Iron Maiden, Islands, Jack White, Chaka Jazzist, Jake Bowen. Speaking of Periphery side projects, that is the Jake Bowen from Periphery. It is his electronic music. So if you like the electronic interludes in their music, you'll like Jake Bowen. Look up his album. James Newton Howard, Shane's Addiction, Jaroslav Beck. He's the guy who makes a lot of the music for Beat Saber, I believe. Jasper Byrne, Jay Tholen. He is the lead designer of Hypnospace Outlaw, last week's video. And yeah, if you like that game, look up his music, because he made most of it for the game. Jeff Buckley, Jeff Loomis, Jeff Rosenstock, the trio of Jeffs in my artist list. Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Eat World, Hisaishi, John Denver, John Williams, Johnny Cash, John Batiste, John Hopkins, Journey, Joy Division, Junkie XL, Juno Reactor, KDA, Kadinja, Kanaboon, Kansas, Kanye West, Kavinsky, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Kenshi Yonezu, Chemist, Killer Be Killed, The Killers, Kill Switch Engage, The Kindred, King Crimson, Kieran J. Callanan, who you may know for a song that was very much a meme in recent years. It's the only song I know by him. It's a song called Big Enough, and a song that I definitely cannot sing in an ASMR video. It's the song with the cowboy in the sky doing, you know what, I can do this just very quietly. The cowboy's in the sky, and he spends quite a bit of the song doing stuff like this, but just imagine this not quiet. Okay, I'm not doing any more of that. Kiss, Knife Party, Nowhere, Korn, Christopher Madigan, the composer of the Cuphead soundtrack. Great big band jazz music. Even if you don't like the game, I'd recommend the Cuphead soundtrack. Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein, Kylesa, Kias, Lasig Benthouse, LCD Sound System, Led Zeppelin, Lena Rain, Leprous, Light Club, Linkin Park, Little People, Living Color, The Lonely Island, Low Roar. Much of Low Roar's music was used in Death Stranding, which, as you may know, was my favorite game of last year. Just thought it was worth noting. And speaking of Death Stranding, next up is Ludwig Forsell, who did the score to Death Stranding. Luniz, Lupe Fiasco, Lucine ICL, Luther Vandross, Machine's Supremacy, Machine Code and Igor, Macintosh Plus, who you may know for their very popular vaporwave music. At least it was popular in the vaporwave scene a few years ago. Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, Madeon, Magic Sword, Makeup and Vanity Set, Lamar's Volta, one of my favorite bands of all time, up there with the Dillinger Escape Plan and Periphery, I'd say. They are very creative, progressive rock. Their songs can be very long and kind of weird and complex, but if you like music that takes you on a journey, I'd highly recommend it. I'm hoping that they'll get back together one day, but they haven't come out with an album since 2012. Massive Attack, Mastodon, great metal band, Max Colvary, Maylene and the Sons of Disaster, a great band, especially if you're into kind of a metal with a southern tinge to it, kind of banjos and a southern drawl, though unfortunately they haven't made an album in, I'd say, 8-9 years after their lead singer got in, I think, an ATV accident and has been kind of disabled for a while, unfortunately. Sad stuff. McRocklin and Hutch, Megadeth, Meshuggah, Mestis, Metallica, Michael Abels, Michael Andrews, and Gary Jules, Michael Giacchino, Jackson, Mick Gordon, who made the music for the 2016 game Doom, which I love, and the music for Doom Eternal, which, if this video comes out when I expect it to, should be out this week, so go check that out. The Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Mike Patton, great vocalist, Mini Mansions, Ministry, Minus the Bear, The Misfits, Mix Hell, Moby, Modest Mouse, Modulo Geek, Monuments, great groovy metal band, Moontooth, Motley Crue, Motoi Sakuraba, Mouse on the Keys, Mr. Bungle, which is one of the more creative bands I've ever heard, led by, of course, Mike Patton of Faith No More, Muse, My Chemical Romance, Misto and Busy, NWA, Nails, Neo Obliviscaris, Necrocoplicon, Nero's Day at Disneyland, Neutral Milk Hotel, New Order, Nick Mystery, Nine Black Alps, Nine Inch Nails, who I've loved for a very long time, and who put on what was one of the best live shows I ever saw. I think it was back in 2013. Great show. Nirvana, Nitro Fun and Hyper Potions, NoFX, Northlane, Nothing More, Ocean Lab, Odessa, The Offering, The Offspring, One Day as a Lion, Oniotrix Point Never, Opeth, Otoboke Beaver, Outcast, The Outline, Ozzy Osbourne, Pallbearer, Paperback Hero, Parkway Drive, Parliament, Pat Benatar, Patrice Rushen, Pearl Jam, Pennywise, A Perfect Circle, Periphery, I think I've said enough about them in this video, Perturbator, Peter, Bjorn, and John, Pilot, A Place to Bury Strangers, Polyphia, Porcupine Tree, Portrayal of Guilt, The Postal Service, Powerman 5000, The Presidents of the United States of America, Pritam, The Prodigy, Protest the Hero, Psy, Public Enemy, Pussifer, Purist, Queens of the Stone Age. I will say they're one of my favorite bands, I'd say, for sure. If you're not familiar with them, great alternative rock music. I guess it has kind of a deserty vibe to it at times because they are based in, I think, the Californian Palm Desert. The Raconteurs, Radiohead, Rage Against the Machine, Rammstein, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Red Seas Fire, Refused, The Reign of Kindo, Remute. I only have one album by Remute, but it is an album that I believe was made entirely using a Sega Genesis sound chip, which is pretty cool. The Sega Genesis always had a really interesting sound to it. Republica, Rick Astley, Riot, Rise Against, who played the loudest live show lo-fi I've ever seen. My ears were ringing for several days because I was stupid and did not bring any earplugs. Rob Dugan, Rob Zombie, The Rolling Stones, Roosevelt, Run the Jewels, Rush, RX Bandits. I think this is Sade. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. Sade or Sade. The Safety Fire, Sash, Saul Williams, Scale the Summit, Scars on Broadway, Scatman John. I'm not gonna do it. Scattle, School of Seven Bells, Scooter, Seal, Seether, Serge Tankian, Shining, The Shins, Shiny Toy Guns, Sixth, Silent Poets, Silver Blue, Silver Sun Pickups, Simon and Garfunkel, Simple Minds, Skrillex, Sky Harbor, Slash, Slipknot, Smash Mouth, Smashing Pumpkins, The Smiths, Sneaker Pimps, Social Distortion, Solar Fields, Soulfly, Soundgarden, Sparta, Spoon, Spylocapa, Staff Cirque, Steel Panther, Steven Universe, Steven Wilson, Stevie Nicks, Stick to Your Guns, Stone Sour, Stone Temple Pilots, Story of the Year, Strapping Young Lad, Strawberry Girls, The Strokes, Structures, Sublime, Swarms, Switchfoot, System of a Down, Wake Up, or no, don't do that. You're trying to sleep. This is an ASMR video. Tram, Tame Impala, Days on Day. I move away from the mic to breathe in. Team America, Tears for Fears, Technotronic, Telephone Tel Aviv, Tenacious D. This is the greatest and best ASMR video in the world. Tribute, Terror Fact, Tesseract, Textures, The Melvins, Them Crooked Vultures, Third Eye Blind, Thomas Bergerson, Thought Crimes, 3 Days Grace, Thrice, Tiny Tim, Toby Fox, Tom Petty, Tomahawk, the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza, Tool, great band, one of my favorite bands, and I love their new album. Tooth Grinder, Torch, Toto, Travis Scott, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, Tribulation, Trico, Triphonic, Trivium, Trophy Scars. And this next band I'm not going to say the full name of because it would break my rule of keeping this channel at least somewhat family friendly. But I will skip the word in the middle. It is 3 words. And the other 2 words are Tropical Storm, TV on the Radio, 12-Foot Ninja, Twisted Sister, Tycho, favorite artist. Can you guess what it is? I don't think. You might not have heard this one before. Various artists. That's right. Various artists. Great band. Veil of Maya. Vane. The Verve. Vestron Vulture. VHS Logos. Vildyarta. Virtual Self. Volumes. Von Ray. Waste. Washed Out. Weezer. Weird Al Yankovic. Wham. The White Stripes. White Zombie. The Who. Wolf Mother. Wumpscut. Yellow. Yellow Card. Yoko Shimomura. Yvette Young. If you like very, I'm not going to say complex, but intricate guitar work and kind of an acoustic, moody feel, I think you'll like Yvette's music. Great guitarist. Zach Hemsey. Zed. ZZ Top. 2 Chainz. Tupac. 3 Doors Down. 3 Inches of Blood. And finally, 2814. And that is it. So I do hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble on about my list of music artists. And I hope you're feeling more relaxed and sleepy.